So we are encouraging all of the participants to share their thoughts about everything that was discussed, or if they have some questions or queries and other related concerns. So this is the perfect timing for that. Okay, so we have now in the chat box, we have a question raised. So from Marion Ellie, do you think it is necessary to change traditional approaches to authentic assessment? And what significant differences do you see in basic assumptions about knowledge, student, and learning in the authentic assessment? Once again, Ma'am Amina, we have a question. Do you think it is necessary to change traditional approaches to authentic assessment? And what significant differences do you see in basic assumptions about knowledge, student, and learning in the authentic assessment? The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc, Sir Alan, for that question coming from our audience. So, with regard to the question, I think it's not necessary to replace. You see, based on my discussion, it's not necessary to replace the traditional assessment that we get used to it, because we are just adding. It's very important that if we're going to deliver, or the purpose of us as a teacher is to develop the students' learning, it is very important that we're going to mix up or collaborate, have a collaboration, have a strategies that you need to use, all of the resources that you are having, you need to use it just for the students to be able to have that learning from you. Okay, with regards again to the questions, necessary to change traditional approach. For me, it's not. We just adding up additional assessment wherein we can be able to deliver a very good lecture or instructions to our students. Did I answer your question, Ma'am Ellie?
Thank you very much. Now let's hear the response of Marian Ellie regarding the response of our lecturer to the question being raised. So thank you very much, Ma'am Amina, for stressing that there is no need to remove the traditional assessment, but just mix it up with authentic and alternative assessment. So we also have other questions raised in our chat box. Okay, Ma'am Marian Ellie responded already, saying thank you. So, sir, let's proceed to the next question from Ma'am Lovely Ann Azanza. So the question raised through Messenger, and it goes like this. What are the challenges in using authentic assessments in your class? Once again, Ma'am Amina, so Ma'am Lovely Ann Azanza is asking, what are the challenges in using authentic assessments in your class?
Okay, what a very challenging question from you, Ma'am Lovely. All right, so because I am teaching college students here in Macau, so I'm handling math and computer programming subjects. Okay, as I am reading about the traditional and authentic assessment, I am trying to recall all the situations during the class wherein authentic and traditional assessment applies. So honestly, I love to use and be more authentic, but I've noticed few challenges. Possible challenge, but I believe possible challenges are faced in shifting towards authentic assessment. But we are not, as I've said, we are not shifting. We are just adding. Okay, but for me, despite of those challenges, the benefits of using this type of assessment defeats its challenges. The first challenge that I encounter is when my students have difficulty taking the assessment seriously and putting out their best efforts. So most of the time, because of their personal circumstances. But we, as a teachers, our main purpose why we are here is to help our students to guide and to guide them, to comfort them, to teach them, and most especially to love them as our own, because we are the second parent, right? So as teachers, we need to encourage them to do their best and give all the effort so they can have the voice and choice in learning. Okay, the next, I have also a challenge wherein a parent questioned my assessment validity. and whether it is truly demonstrate the students' understanding. What I did here is when I spoke to the parent, of course. I told them that they should talk to their children about what they are learning and how skills can be applied in other areas of life. So I remember one parent had concerns that a movie analysis was used for assessment. She is questioning me actually. And then I clarified it was being part of the culminating activity about overcoming adversities. And learning taken from the movie would be applied in a final product. And then when this digital portfolio, because we have that, the e-portfolio was shared, she then understood a big picture. So, and then the last challenge that I remember is when the administrator is feeling, they really emphasize that this authenticity is a chaotic, something like that. So I'm very afraid, I'm very worried, and something like that. But I started to think of the solution. Then I get all the strength in the world just to invite the administrators of our school into the classroom to watch the process and talk to my students about the occurring. Okay, so because I discovered that the students are the best defense against criticism because they are, you know, they are the audience. They are there. They are on that place. So they have 100% knowledge about what is happening. Okay, and a creative idea is having students create an area to explore to future generations. So my students love giving highlights about the topic. So they are giving opinions. They are participating. So I'm very happy that was happened because these are the great to share with administrator and the parents. So it's memorable to me. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you, Mama Nina. Now, Sir Kenneth Atienza had raised his hand. Sir Kenneth, please feel free to ask Miss Anina.
Good, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning po.
So, I've been in teaching for 5 years already. So, I have a question for you since it is relevant to the portfolio, I think the traditional and authentic. Since we are living on a modular learning delivery modality, so since all of us are doing some modules, distributing modules, answering the outputs of the learners, so I have a question regarding the class. Since we have encountered that twice in the whole school year, my concern is, what if a learner is not able to participate? What is the only solution in order for them to convince to participate then? Thank you very much po.
Okay, so the situation is the modular setting, right, Sir Kenneth? Is it?
Yes po.
Okay, okay. The when because as teachers, we should be able to dig all the efforts in the world that we can get all the resources. So it's about the passion of the teachers, how they're going to encourage and motivate the students. Because I believe that the spirit of the teacher is coming from, the spirit of the student is coming from the teacher. How are you going to motivate? How are you going to encourage? Maybe you can give an example. Maybe you can share your own experiences. Or, maybe you can say to the students, when I was in grade school, actually, I get tired of all the things that the teacher is giving it to me. But then look at me now. I am here. I learned a lot from my teachers, and now I realize when I grow up that that motivation from that teacher is very important for us. And then you can also bring this up to the parents of that child or of that student, because having a parent on their side, and at the same time you as a teacher, if you're going to work it together, the parent and the teacher, then the students will get interested. The students will be motivated. So in that case, if they are motivated enough, then they can perform in their highest peak of performance, something like that.
Okay, I am interested on your answer. So it is already understandable and well precise. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir Kenneth Atienza, and thank you very much, Ma'am Amina Clarigo. What I can say is that that was really commendable. Despite the challenges that you have experienced, Ma'am Amina, you were still able to deliver the quality of teaching and learning with your students. And I know each one of the participants here are also doing that. Now let's proceed to another question we have here from Sir Michael Manalo. May I ask this, ma'am? What positive effects, if any, does authentic assessment have on your students and the class? Once again, Ma'am Amina, what positive effects, if any, does authentic assessment have on your students and the class?
Alright, so with regards to Sir Michael's question, so a move toward more authentic tasks and outcomes improve teaching and learning. I totally believe that. Authentic assessment helps the students see themselves as an active participants because they are involved. They are going to work on a task of relevance rather than passive recipients of obscure facts. They're not just going to listen to you. They're not just going to answer what you are asking to them. But then it helps the teachers by encouraging them to reflect on the relevance of what they teach and provides results that are useful for improving instruction. So authentic assessment focuses on the learning process, right? So it sounds instructional practices and high level thinking skills, the proficiency of the students, the success of the students, and their application to the real world. So therefore, the students may offer, because if you're going to offer authentic assessment to your students, they are have been exposed to them. They are having an advantage to those that who have not. So as I've noticed, because I have grade schooler, and it's very important. Authenticity is very important because the positive effects of that is they can apply to the real world. You can mimic the situation. You can give a simulation on that particular task. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Amina. Now let's hear from Sir Michael Manalo. What can you say about the response of our lecturer with your question? Okay, so Sir Michael Manalo is saying thank you for the response that you have, Ma'am Amina. Let's continue, Ma'am Meridel.
Ma'am Ami, here is another question for you. What advice can you give to improve authentic assessments administered by the teacher? Once again, what advice can you give to improve authentic assessments as administered by the teacher?
All right. Okay, advice. For me, when the teacher wants to improve authentic assessment, they need to consider what they can do for their future classes to ensure understanding. The focus of this is because when you want to improve, you should know your purpose. You should know your goal. So for you to be able to have a direction, okay? So first, they can provide just-in-time feedback about the teaching learning process because if the students are giving their answers, they are waiting for your feedback. Do you experience that as a teacher? Ma'am, did you already check my project? Have you seen my project? And something like that. I never slept for 2 days for that. They are requiring you to give a feedback. So for me, if you wanted to improve the authentic way of assessment, you need to give them just-in-time feedback. They must also provide useful information about student learning with less work than traditional assignments. So please not avoid, but then less the paperwork, something like that. Just be balanced on giving the traditional and authentic assessment. They need to encourage the view that teaching is going process of inquiry, experimentation, and reflection. And most importantly, they need to keep keep the students engaged in the learning process. So for you to be able to improve the authenticity of your teaching or of your assessment, you need to always have a goal in mind that you need to develop your students. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Amina Clarigo, for that substantial advice of yours in terms of improving the authentic assessment. So before we proceed with the next question, I appreciate the effort of Ma'am Annalyn Balyanes Pojas for sharing her thoughts about the topic. So she said, I think traditional and authentic assessments are both necessary in assessing our students' learning. So thank you very much, Ma'am Annalyn Pojas. So now let's proceed to the next question. Let's give way to the question raised by Teacher Eman. Ma'am Amina, what specific authentic assessment have you used in your class during this time of pandemic? Once again, Ma'am Amina, what specific authentic assessment have you used in your class during this time of pandemic?
Okay. So because we are here now, no, we are delivering our classes online because it's pandemic. So actually, in the first weeks that we encountered this, we are a little bit shocked. But now we get used to it, we adjusted already. So based from your question, as online education becomes the new normal now, it is even more important to implement this assessment practice to create an engaging and fruitful learning experience, because you cannot let your students just read and then answer some worksheet. So it's very important, even if it's online or offline, as I have discussed earlier, authentic assessment can be applied online. So since authentic assessment measures how students apply the attained knowledge and skills in real-world situation, this seems to be a challenge in an online setting. I know that because of physical constraint. We are not, we don't face each other and everything. But in fact, technology has the capacity to help generate authentic context that promote real-world problem solving in all disciplines. Because I am a computer teacher, I do programming, so that is my advantage. That I can, I have a heart in online education. I know and I believe that we can have a very good learning, even if it's online. With different remote platforms or softwares, teachers can create virtual simulations of virtual lab activity. Actually, we have a lot of softwares that is available. They can even, how do you call this? Conduct a debate session or panel discussion where the students can interact and collaborate with each other, just like face-to-face, like what we are doing today, right? Or we are not, we are not in one place, but then still we are learning. Okay, another crucial feature of authentic assessment is its collaborative nature. So since education focuses more on preparing learners for future employment, developing teamwork and collaboration skills is a must. So considering the online transition, the ability to effectively working together is no longer confined to the face-to-face setting. So it is extended to a remote environment. So for me, with regards to the question about the pandemic issues of authenticity, actually I have experience. I think I have my kids teachers here. They are present, but I would like to give my experience as a mother, because my children is in grade 3 and 4, but then the teachers, I kudos to that teacher, they can be able to give us authentic assessment even if it's online. Just like they're going to give us a task wherein my children is going to plant a mongo, and then they can take a picture of that. After 2 days, after 3 days, after 4 days, they can be able to recognize the differences between those days. So they can be able to recognize that the leaf of this mongo is growing at the 5th day, and something like that. And then they can also give us authentic task wherein my children is going to color a t-shirt, a paint t-shirt, and can be able to demonstrate what are those colors in it. the design of it. So I think remote environment or this online setting is not an hindrance because we have technologies. We can be able to take a picture, we can be able to have a video call, we can be able to use a softwares that is available. There's a lot of softwares. All we have to do as a teacher is just to learn. Okay? Because teachers needs to learn a lot. Because you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't know how to use it, so how can you teach them? How can you use that platform if you don't know how to use it? So those are the ways that I think that will help us in delivering authentic assessment when it comes to online platform. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Amina A. Clarico, for responding intelligently with all of the questions raised by our participants. I would like also to say thank you to all of the participants who have raised their questions. I hope you're very contented with the answers and response of our lecturer. Once again, thank you very much, Ma'am Amina, and to all of the participants. Well, I think it's